Yeah, everybody, God bless you. God bless you. This is a good view up this area. I'm back out here again. God bless y'all. You know, God is a good God and He's worthy to be praised. You know, sometimes when the noise, or put it this way, shall I say this? We can be so distracted by the noise that's all around us, and so much that we can't even hear what God is really trying to tell us. And sometimes you have to stay away from people just to hear what God is trying to say to you. We can get so distracted by the things that's going on around us or in our lives, and all the while God been trying to get our undivided attention for the longest. And because we so caught up in the noise and the things that we hear that's going on around us, that we forget about what God is really trying to say to us. You know, and I just thank God, in spite of the storms, the trials, the tribulations, we know that trials and tribulations don't come to destroy us or don't come to discourage us about who God is, but it comes to make us stronger. Trials and tribulations comes to show us what we can and cannot take. And I always remind myself about process. How you doing, Cousin Terrence? I always remind myself about process and how in life that you gonna have to, no matter what you do, you're gonna have to go through a process in order to make it to another level in life. You know, and I just thank God that even through this pandemic, these testing times, these proving times, He's yet keeping His hands on me. Sometimes people would try to discredit your name, try to make you like you such a bad person. And I'm talking about distractions, because that's part of distraction when it comes to focusing on God. And because the enemy, he don't start with attacking your heart first. He starts with your mind. And the reason why he starts with your mind, because he got to plant something in your mind first, so that once it's planted in your mind, then he knows once he can plant it in your mind, now you're thinking about what he's planting in your mind. And when it plants in your mind, it grows. It becomes a stronghold. And once it's a stronghold, then it filters into your heart. And when it goes into your heart, then that's when you start acting on what he planted from your mind to your heart. So sometimes when we can get so caught up in being distracted by the noise, the things that's going on in our lives, that we miss what God is really trying to say to us. So sometimes you got to just stay away from everybody. You got to get away where it's just you alone. Sometimes you got to get away and be alone where there's no distractions. And you are able to talk to God for yourself. And I know when we being tested and when we being tried, it doesn't feel good all the time. Because sometimes when you being tested and tried, the first thing the devil tells you to do is give up. This don't work. That don't work. Then you start trying to find reasons why you can't really serve God, or you try to justify your actions why you can't serve God the way God is calling us to really serve him. So we try to justify it. I'm not serving God because of this. I'm not serving God because of that. I will serve God. I will come to church, but I'm not going to serve him. I'm not going to submit to him. I'm not going to surrender to him. But what? We go to the church building, but really don't want to serve him. And see, God is not looking for a people like that. He's looking for a people that he can use. He's looking for a people that he can count on. And the way things are going and things are happening right now would be the time to draw closer to God in spite of what you think, what you feel, how you think you should serve God. There's only one way to serving God. And that's in spirit, and that's in truth. See, what I'm still talking about, the noise, and I'm still talking about the distractions that the enemy uses to what? Try to get us to renege and to turn from God. So I just want to share this little video, show you the view, man. See the noise. The noise. The noise. But I just want to encourage somebody on today, in spite of the noise, sometimes when things is going on in your life, you got to stay away. You can't allow what the enemy to build a nest on your head. You can't stop him from bringing thoughts, because all he can do is bring suggestions to our minds. The power of suggestion. All he can do is bring suggestions to our mind, but he cannot make you do anything you don't want to do. If you find yourself doing it, it's because that's what you wanted to do. If you find yourself drinking, that's because that's what you wanted to do. If you find yourself smoking, that's because that's what you wanted to do. If you find yourself going over that woman house, that man house, that's not yours, that's because that's something you wanted to do. So a lot of times we already know that what the enemy is a liar. We know that. But sometimes when things is going on and happening in our lives, the first thing we try to say, well, it's the devil. Sometimes it's not the devil, it's just the individual person. And the devil, he knows he's a liar. He's just sitting in hell like, man, I know I'm a liar, but why they lying on me? I didn't tell them to do that. They did that because that's what they wanted to do. So what I just want to let somebody know on today, that in spite of what your situations and your troubles and the things that you face and the things that you're going through in life, If God is allowing these things to happen, it's because what? He got a greater purpose for us. And sometimes before we reach the next level, we got to go through the process of being able to take something. We got to go through the process of being able not to get out of character and all these other things. The things that the devil tries to use against us when somebody do us wrong or things is happening and we yet don't understand. He uses these things to what? Try to distract us from what God is really trying to say to us. So I just want to let somebody know that on today, that in spite of your trouble, in spite of your situations, in spite of what may be going on, in your life, and what, God is the only way, the truth, and the light. He's the only one that can help us in our time of trouble and in our time of need. Or he's looking for a person that he can count on. And these day and times, people, they pick and choose how they want to serve God. They pick and choose how they think they should serve God. But there's only one way, and that's in spirit, and that's in truth. So in spite of the noise, and in spite of what the situations that we face in our lives, just know that God yet still cares for you. God yet still love you. When people count you out, when people look at you and say, what, you ain't gonna never be nothing, you ain't gonna never amount to anything, that ain't what God is saying. Because what? God's arms is open, and his love never changed. See, man love may change, but God love never changes. And that's what I like about it. His love never changes in spite of the situation, in spite of what? The difficulty times that we are facing in our lives right now. God love never changes. So when you look at this here and you see what? The noise. You see the noise. Sometimes the noise can distract you from what God is saying. Whatever it is, it could be what? Your girlfriend, it could be your husband, it could be your wife, it could be your children, it could be the video game, it can be whatever it is that life issues itself bring forth. It can cause noise in your life to where you can't hear what God is really trying to say. So I just want to let somebody know that on today, in spite of the noise, sometimes we gotta stay away. We gotta get away where it's just you and God in that quiet time. I was telling somebody, I said, there's two type of prayers. There's two type of prayers. You got public prayer, where you're praying as a whole. That's public prayer. When you together and you praying as a whole. And then you got intimate prayer. Intimate prayer is where it's just you and God. You're not around nobody. You're not with no crowd. But it's you and God. That's intimate prayer. You got public prayer and you got intimate prayer. And sometimes that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to have that intimate time with him where it's just nobody. So I just want to encourage somebody and let somebody know that what? God never changed. His love never changed. Sometimes things and situations happen in our lives and we yet don't understand. We don't know why it's happening. We don't know why it's happening. We don't know why all of a sudden things was good in your life. Things was going good. And then all of a sudden, here come the storm. Here come the rain in our lives. And if we are not prepared, it can sweep you right off your feet because of what? You wasn't prepared for that storm. You wasn't prepared for the things that life itself had to throw at us. And so God himself, he always prepare us for the unexpected moments. Because what the Bible says, there's a time and a season for all things. It's a time to have, it's a time not to have. It's a time to weep, and it's a time to mourn. It's a time to laugh, it's a time to cry. Everything in life have its season. But I was telling somebody, I said, the trials and the tribulations that we go through, the tests that we go through, determine, your outcome is determined how you go through. And we know that going through different things in life doesn't feel good all the time, but we know that if we are trusting in God and relying and depending on Him, and that's what I'm doing. I'm learning to trust God. In spite of, if I can't see it now, I'm learning to trust God in any situation, man. And that's what this thing is all about. Because God never failed. He said that He'd never leave us, He'd never forsake us, even in such a time as this, when things are going on and we in this pandemic moment and you got people just going crazy, they freaking out what they gonna do and how they gonna do it. God is the one that take care of us. And that's what we gotta look at. We gotta look at it just like that. He is the one that's taking care of us. And if we allow Him to do His work, sometimes we get in the way of God doing His work. Because we get in the way. We think that we can do it better than God. God don't understand what I'm going through. Why He don't understand what you're going through? Sometimes He allowed things to happen to us for two reasons. One, He allowed things to happen to us in our lives is because He's trying to get our attention, and He know that we ain't paying attention. We so distracted by everything that's going on around us. And two, He allowing things to happen because He's trying to bring you to the next level in life. So with or without God, you're still going to go through a process in life. Just like before you apply for a job, there's a process. You search first. Once you find, you fill out the application. You submit the application. Then they call you in for an interview. It's a process. So everything in life is a process. And we got to be able to know that even no matter what's going on with the noise that's around us, sometimes God is just trying to get our attention. And when you got so much noise around you, you can't really hear what God is really trying to say to you. So I just want to encourage somebody on today. You know, I had to do this little video. Just get away. Stay away from whatever and just allow God to speak. Allow God to speak. That's what I'm learning. Sometimes you just got to hear God and be obedient to what God is saying. I was telling somebody, I said lately, my name been being called. I'll be in a bed somewhere, then I hear a voice call my name. The other day I was down at the Potter's house, the church, which is the Potter house. I was down at the Potter's house and I was praying, and this never happened to me. I was praying, I was by myself, I was praying, just telling God all about me. I wasn't telling Him about nothing else. I was telling Him about me. Fix me. Fix it in me, Lord. Make it right with me, Lord. And I was down in the Potter's house, and all of a sudden, I'm praying. And I heard my name being called twice while I was praying. And lately, this been going on. So I know that is God that's calling me, man. And when He's calling you, you got to answer the call. You got to hear. My leader told me, she said, when it happens, just say, here I am, Lord. And that's exactly what I did when it happened. I said, here I am, Lord. But lately, my name is being called. And sometimes, your situations, your troubles, and things that you're going through in life, it becomes a noise that you get distracted from what God is trying to tell you and what God is trying to say to you. You get distracted because you're so focused on your situation. You're focused on what's going on with your right now situation that you're forgetting about what God is trying to say to you. So when I say you, I'm talking to me too, but I'm just talking. So in spite of your difficulty moments, in spite of your situations, just know that get away from the noise. Get away from all the distractions. Sometimes God want to get you by yourself so that he can talk to you, so that he can reveal things to you, so that he can show you why this is happening and why that is happening. But we get so caught up with the noise that we forget about God. And sometimes God don't come in the loudness. He comes in the stillness. He comes in the quietness. And so I was telling somebody, I said, in spite of, if we can really look back and count on your hands how many times you should have been dead, but God didn't allow you to die. I was thinking about that on the other day. I was telling somebody the things that happened, getting shot at, getting chased down, 6 cars trying to kill us that night. Me, my god brother, and my friend, we was all in the car that night, right on Capon and Martin, but we got chased down on Capon. I never told my mom this story because I never wanted her to worry about if I'm gonna make it back home or not. I told her years later when I entered the church, when I got good in the church, is when I told her the story. So think about all the things that could have happened to you that didn't happen. And sometimes we can take our life for granted, but then on the other token, what we say, I love God. I have God. Got a relationship with God. But we know that there's only one way to serve God, and that's in spirit and in truth. Not a spirit and a lie, but in spirit and in truth. Because there's only one way to serve him. You know, and I thank God for him giving me time to change and to make my mind up to whatever it is that he would have me to do. He got great need at everybody. But everybody we know ain't gonna serve God. They're not gonna submit to God. They ain't gonna commit their life to God. We know that. God knows that. That's why the Bible said many are called and few are chosen. Because there's only gonna be a few that's gonna serve God. There's only gonna be a few. And so what we gotta remember is that when all the noise is going on around us and in our lives, we got to get away from the distractions and allow God to really, really fully have his way in our lives. Sometimes we not allowing him to really have his way in our lives because of what? The noise that's going on around us. You know, and that's what's going on right now. It's the noise. We got to get away from the noise and really allow him to really have his way in our lives. And that's how things will work and get better for us in our lives. How you doing?
Hey, you looking good.
Good to see you too.
Good to be seen.
Yeah, I was down there looking. I said, yeah, I know her. She trying to disguise. I know her.
What you going about? You been this right?
All right. Well, take care though. Yeah. So what we got to always remember, yeah, that was my aunt. What we got to always remember, that sometimes the noise can distract us from really hearing what God is really trying to say to us. And sometimes we got to break away from the noise so God can talk to us and speak to us. But we get into this little whatever. Oh, well, my life is going bad today. I don't want to hear nothing about God. I just lost my loved one. I just lost my auntie, my uncle, or cousin, or whatever. I don't want to hear this God stuff. But what we got to realize is God is too wise to make any mistakes. He's a perfect and righteous and upright God. He can't make a mistake. He can't go against his word. So I just want to encourage somebody on today with this short little video that I'm doing. I'm over here by the riverfront. Just sometimes you got to stay away, man. Clear your head, clear your mind from things. Because I was telling somebody, I said, you can hit a target that's not moving. Say that again. You can hit a target that is not moving. But it's hard to hit a target Hey, how you doing? It's hard to hit a target when it's moving. But when it's not moving, it's easy to hit a target. It's easy. But when you're moving around and you keeping yourself occupied and you're not allowing the devil to try to build nests in your mind and put strongholds in your mind, it's hard for him to hit you because you're moving. You're moving around. You're occupying yourself. Sometimes we occupy ourselves on the wrong things. That man, that woman, that boy, that girl, that job, that money, whatever it is. I don't have this, I have that. Sometimes we occupy ourselves on the wrong thing. And so much that we forget about who God really is. So I just want to encourage somebody and let somebody know on today, and I hope I said something to encourage you as it's encouraging me as well. We got to stay moving so the enemy can't hit you. We got to stay moving. As long as you moving, he can't hit you. He can't even touch you. And so what? Even with all this stuff that's going on with this pandemic and all that, you would think people will be ready to change their life and give their life to God, but it's not so. I'ma just do what the government told me. Just wear a mask, wash my hands. I'll be good. But that stuff don't protect you like you think it do. It's God that protects us and covers us and shields us and all these things. So we gotta always remember that on today, people. That even in your darkest moments, even in your moments when you feel that there's no hope for you, even in your moments when you feel that life itself have let you down, even in your moments when you feel that you're being overlooked, God's love still extends. His arms is open to those that run to him. And that's what we got to understand, people. God love, his love extends, and we gotta allow him to lift us up. We got to allow him to really have his way in our lives, even in times when we don't understand why this is happening, why that is happening. God is yet a good God, and he's worthy to be praised. So in spite of what your situations, your difficulty times, and all this other stuff, just know that God, man, God is the one that can help us. Nothing else can help us. We turn and we look for help in other things. But God is the one that can help us. We turn to the woman. We turn to the man. We turn to the alcohol. Well, I don't work 7 days a week, 5 days a week. I don't work. So now what? I guess I'm about to go get a drink. I'm stressed out. This is going on. That is going on. And that's what the devil will tell you. He'll suggest that you go get a drink. He'll suggest that you go smoke. He'll suggest that you go do all these things. That we forget about God. We ain't paying God no mind. But on the other token, what we say, I love God. I got a relationship with God, and God knows my heart. You're right. God knows all our hearts. He knows that what? We got to change. He knows that what? We got to give up things that we don't want to give up. So I just thank God that I have found sound doctrine. I thank God that he didn't allow me to die when death came twice in my life. God didn't let me die when I didn't understand life itself. And you know, I was telling somebody and I said, I told my brother and I had said to him, I said, you would never know who you are. You would never know what your true purpose is until you come to God. And when you come to God, you start knowing your purpose in life. You'll start knowing what are you here for. You'll start knowing what God would have for you to do when you come to him. Sometimes we get so afraid to come to God. We so afraid to change because what? We don't want nobody to think less of us. You know, in the world they say, you a coward or you corny or you this or you that. It ain't about what people is saying to you. It ain't about what people saying to you. It's at the end of the day, it's about our souls being right with God. That's what the whole thing is about. It's about our souls being right with God. We get so caught up, we worrying about people. The reason why I'm not going to serve God is because my girlfriend, my husband, my wife, my children. We get so caught up with people. We so focused on people and what people going to say, but what? Validation don't come from people. Why would you look for validation of man? So I knew that I was tired is when I got tired. When things was happening in my life that I know that death was right there. And if I didn't listen to God, I'd be dead right now. And here it is, God. Sometimes God is speaking to us. He's dealing with us, telling you to stop. He'll send people across your pathway, telling you to stop the things you're doing. Here. And then all of a sudden you go around the corner or you go down the street, somebody else is talking to you about God, telling you the same thing that person told you 2 weeks ago. So it's no coincidence. God uses people to what? Deliver a message to you. So all the time when things is going on and happening in my life, I already knew that what? God was talking to me, that God was calling me, that God was dealing with me. I knew that when I was out here. I knew that it was just only a matter of time. And once God, the Bible says what? One man sow, one man water. And what? God is the one that gives the increase. So a lot of times you can have that same person talking to you about God. And it seems like to that person, that person ain't listening. Then all of a sudden somebody else will come to you, say the same exact thing, but in different words. Now what? That first person don't sow the seed in you. Now what? Down the line, then you got the next person that came. Now he's watering that seed. He's watering it because the seed has been sown in you. So he's watering it. Then God, he gives the increase. Because Jesus said, no man can come to me, except no man can come to the Father except what? Through me. Because he is the door to heaven. So what I want to really encourage somebody on today that in spite of your situations, the things that you might be facing in life, if we just really allow God. I'm not talking about you going to church, but you didn't give your heart. You say, well, I tried it. Ain't nothing working. I went to the church. Ain't nothing working for me. Okay. Did you give God your heart? When you went to the building, did you give God your heart and your mind? Did you give him your body? Or you just came because somebody told you, invited you to come? I know this thing worked because it's working for me. Serving God is working for me in spite of my trials, in spite of what? The tribulations and the things that we have to face. When God got a calling on your life, you're going to go through something to reach the next level in life. Rather, it could be your family, your very own family. Discredit you, talk about you. Your very own family doing hurtful things to you, your husband, your wife. But when God got a calling on your life, ain't nothing you can do. You could try to run here, you could try to run there, you could try to run and go hide under the rock. The rock gonna cry out. Here he is, he's hiding under here. And that's what it is. The devil, he wants us to be afraid to do God's will. He wants us to be afraid to step out. He wants us to be afraid to do whatever it is that God is calling us to do. So I just want to encourage somebody on today, in spite of the noise that's going on all around you in your life, whatever it is, whatever situation, whatever trial, tribulation, or whatever it is, the noise. See, things coming in our lives, and sometimes things come into our life to distract us or who God or what God is really trying to say to us. Because we focusing on that moment on what's going on. My husband, my wife, my job, this, that, my family, this, that. I don't understand why they doing this to me. Why they doing that to me? Why not? Why not you? And that's what I say to myself. Why not me? I know God didn't bring me this far. He didn't allow me to live 39 years on this earth for no reason. I was telling my brother Jerome, and I told him that, and now when he called before, it was to be a fight. It's to be a fight with my brother. Be talking to him, and he always reneging about God. Every time he get on the phone with me, and then I start talking about God, he ready to get off the phone. But then a couple of weeks ago, I was sitting, God had me just listening to him. While he was talking, he was venting. He was talking about God, and I'm just sitting here listening. Sometimes when we think prayer is not working, it's working on somebody's behalf. The devil wants us to give up on prayer. I don't pray too long for my family, my husband, my wife, my brother, my sister, and nothing is working. It seems like they're getting worse. Let's keep on praying. Because when that was going on and I was talking to him, God was encouraging me. Keep on praying. Keep on doing what you're doing. And we was talking, he was talking about God and all this other stuff, talking about he prayed, he get down on his knees. I said, what? I didn't even say nothing. I didn't even open my mouth. It encouraged me. The reason why it encouraged me, because I was going through a rough time and still going through a rough time with my very own family. So to hear him talk about God and talking about he get on his knees, and then he went on and saying, you know what, bruh? He said, now you the little brother. He said before it was torn, but now you the little brother, and I am. I'm the youngest now. I'm the baby brother now. And he said to me, he said, keep doing what you're doing, man. He said, I'm proud of you, bruh. He said, keep doing what you're doing. And when he said that out of his mouth, he don't know what he did on the inside of me when he said what he said. He don't know what he did on the inside of me when he said, keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. You on the right track. Sometimes you need to hear that from your very own family. So when he said that to me, and then he said, and then at the end, before we got off the phone, he said, bruh, he said, I like listening to you talk about God. Now look, I'm talking about, it went from him fighting against me, saying all types of things about me. And I'm talking about, look, this is my family. This is my brother. It went from all of that. It went from all of that to right now. He said, man, I like listening to you when you talk about God. Keep doing what you're doing, bruh. You on the right track. He don't know what that thing did to me when he said that to me. Sometimes you need to hear that, especially when you fighting and you doing all you can to hold on to God. You're doing all you can. You're striving and you're pressing, and you want to be right. You want to be righteous with God. You want to be in line with God. You're doing everything you can. Life throwing issues at you. Life doing this at you, throwing that at you. And sometimes it's so much that it can be so overwhelming where what? It makes you want to give up. But what Jesus said, come unto me all ye that are heavy laden and are burdened, and I will give you rest. And because he is our burden bearer, he is our battle fighter, in spite of wife trouble, in spite of husband trouble, in spite of children acting up, money getting low. And that's what I thank God for, man. I thank God for it. He's looking for a people that he can use. He's looking for a people that he can rely on. He's looking for a people that he can count on. That's what he's looking for. That's what he's looking for Thank you, Uncle George. That's what he's looking for. So in spite of the noise, in spite of the different things that's going on in your life, rather if it's trials, tribulations, all those things can occur to noise that you're not hearing what God is saying. All those things can occur to noise that you're not hearing what God is saying, because we're focusing on our right now situation. We're focusing on what's going on with us right now, that we miss what God is really trying to say to us. In an overall end, we miss what God is really trying to say to us. Noise. Sometimes you got to get away from the noise. You got to stay away from people. You got to stay away from the crowd and get to a quiet place where God can talk to you and you can hear him talking to you. And I'm learning and I'm asking God, teach me, Lord, to hear your voice in the sound of noise. I'm learning, man. Every day I'm learning every day. You can never get so big, you can never get so caught up in what? A title, in a position that you can't hear what God is saying. Because at the end of the day, it ain't about no title. Because you got people that got titles that's going to hell. I know that sound harsh, but it's just reality. They get so caught up in the title that they forget about God. I was telling somebody, I said, God gave me the title of a deacon because what? He gave me something to hold on to. When trials and tribulations come in my life, storms rage in my life, he gave me something to hold on to. So I just want to encourage somebody. Sometimes you gotta get away from the noise. Sometimes you got to get away from the noise. You got to get away from what? Your favorite buddy. You got to get away from what? The usual company, and what? Allow God to really speak. And I'm learning to hear God when he's talking. I'm learning, man. I'm learning. Sometimes when things happen in our lives, the devil wants us to focus on our situation, our right now situation. Sometimes he wants us to focus on our right now situation. You funny, Uncle George. Right, just like that commercial, loud and clear. Can you hear me now? But to God be the glory and everything that we do and everything that we face. No matter what troubles you're going through, no matter what situations you are going through, give God the praise. Give God the praise. Praising God is what confuses the enemy, because he don't understand. I'm attacking this, I'm attacking that, and you still standing. You still praising God. Wife trouble, husband trouble, you still praising God. You still holding on. So he don't understand why it's happening. So what? Praising God confuses the enemy. That's one of our best weapons that we can ever use, is giving God the praise in any situation that we face. Praising God confuses the enemy. So I just want to encourage somebody with that on today, that in spite of your troubles, your difficulty moments, and all the things that what you are facing, just know that what? And all of that, God sees. God sees and God hears. He sees and he hears all the things that we go through, that we face. He knows our tomorrow. He knows what we're going to face before we even face it. To God be the glory. So I just want to encourage somebody with that on today, and I hope I've said something to encourage somebody. If not, you know, I encouraged myself. I said some things, because even when you are going through tests and trials in your life, where you know it all and you don't need nothing else to learn nothing else. Every day is a learning experience. Life itself is a learning experience. It's a learning experience. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you face, give God the praise. I could sit here for another 3-4 hours telling you about my life and how I were. And how what God, he didn't allow death to take me. So I'm happy. I'm have to. Exactly, Uncle George. David had to encourage yourself. The songwriter says sometimes you got to encourage yourself. Even when no one wasn't around to encourage you, you got to encourage yourself. You got to find strength and encourage yourself that whatever situation that you're in, you got to speak to it. I'm learning that, man. But what? Y'all be encouraged, man. Be encouraged. God bless you. There's no other way around it. We need God, y'all. I don't care what you try to do, how you try to take shortcuts, how you feel that you don't need him, but we need God. We need God, and we need him in a worse way. Some people walking around here and they don't think that they need God. They don't think they need God. Well, I'm all right. I'm well off. I got a good paying job, and you know, I got this going on. I got that going on. We need God, man. It's so evident right now the way things is going on in our life right now that we really need God. It's so evident. It's so evident, man, that we need God. That's why the Bible says many are called and few are chosen. And I just want to be the chosen. I want to be one of the few. I want to be one of the few. But with that, God bless y'all. May heaven smile upon y'all. And I'm out. Y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.